This is your boy Leon D. We're going to talk about a lot of things on this podcast, primarily food. I like to talk about food a lot, but we're going to talk about food around the world. We're going to talk about some other things that's going to touch your heart or make you mad. It really don't matter, but I'm going to tell you about it though. DJ Leon D. Peace. Let's get it on. Yeah, people, it's your boy DJ Leon D. I'm back. I'm back. I need to tell you about national parks and food. These are some things you need to know because you go traveling, you spend a lot of money on plane tickets to get into the parks. Beautiful parks. I am a proponent of national parks. But here's where the problem comes in at. When you go to national parks, I'm going to tell you right now, you ain't going to find no good food outside of national parks. No. Those restaurants there are ones you never heard of, ones you never dreamed of, and ones you never want to go back to. I'm going to tell you, straight up, the best breakfast we had was at a Hampton Inn. That's ridiculous. Now, they have places that talk about they serve breakfast and all this and all this. National parks, the best food you're going to have, period, is within the park at one of the lodges. At one of those lodges is going to be your best food. Now, you don't know that when you first go there because I had picked out some places, I'm going to go back. The best breakfast I did have was in a B&B. I try to stay at B&Bs because, you see, I already know that you're going to get a decent breakfast, or at least you get their first right of refusal. And then you can decide to go to somewhere else. But I couldn't find a good restaurant to have a good meal at outside of the national parks. So I ate all my lunches and almost all my dinners within the park. Now, I'm going to tell you what they do. I am a big proponent of national parks. Everybody knows that. I go to 3, 4, 5 a year. I have an annual membership. So I get my expectations up on seeing the park, not on the food. Now, they're going to have a lot of restaurants in some places, and some places they're not going to have any restaurants at all. They're going to have very few restaurants. But some places they're going to have a whole bunch of them. And they all going to be on the same street. They all going to be next to one another or next to a hotel. So, if you go there and you take your family, just eat in the park. And to be honest about it, the prices aren't that bad for what you get. Now, you don't get a lot. I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to get your typical burgers, chicken tenders, chicken wings. That's what you're going to get. You don't go there thinking you're going to get a hell of a steak. And here's the funny thing about it. In all of the national parks I went to, whether it's Grand Canyon, the Arches, whether it's Bryce Canyon, whether it's Zion, whether it's Cobb, it doesn't matter. They show on the picture of the national parks, they show you, like, perfect example, you go to Bryce's, they show you bisons everywhere. I didn't see one, but I sure as the hell wanted to eat one. So I'm thinking I'm going to a restaurant and, you got bison, you're in bison country, you're going to have bison steaks, you're going to have bison ribs. I'm thinking all these funny dreams I had. No, it's not how it worked. These restaurants are run by somebody that the National Park Service has leased out a 15 to 20-year contract. Their goal is to get you in at a decent price and get you out so they can have a quick turnover because you're going to see thousands of people in the national parks. You're going to see thousands of people. And so their goal is to get that crowd, and just try to feed them all. And they hire people, young people, to be your waiter, your server, or whatever, and probably your cook. You probably got Jose in the back. Who knows, right? But you're not going to get that eloquent, what's the word? You're not going to get that great meal. You're not going to get that. And they're going to try and get you to order fried food as much as possible. Because, see, we all know Fried foods only takes a couple of minutes to make, you know, and every meal had fries with it. And you can't change, you know, how the food comes. If it says a burger and fry, and or something like something with mashed potatoes or whatever, that's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna, if that burger say burgers and fries, don't ask for any other side dish. That meal is pre-made, ready to go when you walk in the door. Because you can go in there and you can order food, and no lie, it's on your table within a minute and a half. Ain't nobody cooking food that damn quick. I don't care what it is you're cooking. Even fries take 2 minutes. But they're gonna have the food ready for you to go. And it's just one of those things that when you see it, you know, and how fast they cook the food, you're gonna be blown away. Yep, you're gonna be blown away. Because they're gonna damn near have the food to your plate by the time you order it. By the time you say burger and fry, before you say the S on fries, it's on your table. And they stand around you and watch you to hope that you're done eating and get done quick. I mean, they're not rude or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. They're not rude, but you know how somebody gazes at you and gazes at your food? You're like, damn, you want some? No, they want your plate, the entire plate. And most of the national parks, the prices are about the same no matter which one you go to as far as eating food. And it could be because they got the same, you know, they got the same vendor that's running the food, you know, at all these parks, because, you know, they're all located in the same area. And generally, only 1 or 2 people know how the business is done with national parks. And so they probably bid on the contract knowing how it's done and had an inside angle. But what I want to tell you, you don't really have grocery stores, because see, here's the thing about national parks. They are always where there are no people living. That entire little small town depends on that 1 4 to 5 month season to make all their money. Because they know during the wintertime they're going to be closed. They know a lot of things. And so they are going to try and get somebody for almost cheap or no labor cost at all. And then they want to have food prepackaged, ready to go. And when you walk in, it's ready to go. And their goal is to get you in and out in 15 minutes. It don't matter what you order. It don't matter what you order. And the service really isn't good, because you got to beg them to get a refill. They charge you $4 or $5 for a Coke. They're gonna bring you that initial Coke, and then you're not gonna see them until your food come out, and they're not gonna ask you another refill. You got to go tell them, I want another refill. They are not going to ask you, because, you know, like I said, it's, you know, drinks are a high profit margin. A Coke to a vendor may cost 15 cents. They're charging you $4. And every time you drink one, that's another 15 cents of profit that the vendor doesn't make. And the menu is never really extensive. Normally it's 1, maybe 2 pages if you're lucky. But nothing wrong with that if you cooking it fresh. And now, don't get me wrong, when I was at Bryce Canyon, if you order food, you could see a cook in the back cooking the food. Well, warming it up or putting it on the grill. You know, you can see that kind of stuff. But you don't see anything shows you that he's creating anything. You know, he's taking it out of a pack, slapping it on, saying thank you, see you later. But my view on national parks and food is that you almost got to be like a damn camel. You got to come there full if you want to leave full. You know, you're going to spend $40, $50 on a lunch for one of you, maybe 2. And one thing that you have to know that people really, really don't understand. National parks do not have kids' menus. No. I don't care if your kid got 1 tooth or 45 teeth in the head. They got to order off the adult menu. I've seen so many couples come in there with little kids. Now, saying that, national parks are not designed for little kids. It's a lot of walking uphill, and you're looking at a lot of rocks or a lot of something. But they are not designed for active kids. Not at all. National parks are designed for old folks. I mean, really old, like in the 80s. That's who they are designed for. That is who. That's the genre that is the most, that visits the parks the most. At least 65% of everybody in a national park is over the age of 50. And if they're not, they usually are a biker or people like cycling, or they are a hiker or something like that, or a runner. They're not designed for your little fat 4-year-old Johnny. It's gonna kill him. And it's always hot because there's a bunch of rocks. It's always hot. They are not designed for people who are not in shape, in a wheelchair. If you're in a wheelchair, go on a cruise. Good luck on that too. But if you're in a wheelchair, it's not designed for you. No one's going to push you for miles on hot rocks. It's not going to happen. They are designed for old folks, and that is why the portion sizes of the food in the lodges are small. I don't mind if I get a small portion size, and it's cheap. And that's what national parks do. Your best bet, I'm going to tell you, you go to national park, you are going to have a revelation if you see a McDonald's outside of it. My advice to you, which I didn't see a McDonald's nowhere near any entrance to a national park, and I went through all the main entrances at all the national parks. There's no McDonald's in those little towns. Because like I said, it's seasonal, and most people don't live there year round. They hire a lot of people who are non-U.S. to work at restaurants, to work at, little things. So when you go to a national park, if you see a McDonald's within 40 miles, my advice to you is to stop and feed your family. Yeah, stop and feed your family at that McDonald's, because you're going to think McDonald's is a Ruth Chris when you go to a national park and you can't find anything. And the other thing too, they advertise fresh salmon at damn near every restaurant I went to. These are landlocked national parks, landlocked cities, landlocked states. Where are they getting fresh seafood from every day? There are no major airports near any national park. There are no major airports near any national park. No. So where are you getting all this fresh stuff from? Their idea of fresh is that we made it today. You didn't make it. You cooked it today. It came pretty much pre-made. It came vacuum sealed to you. So you have to remind yourself, national parks, the food outside, every place sells the same thing. Pork chop, maybe a steak, maybe shrimp, maybe salmon, maybe trout. And then they got the burgers. Everybody sells the same thing. It just, they may cook it slightly different. They may season a little bit different, and that's the differences. That's the differences in a lot of restaurants, and we all get that. But you're not gonna have anything elegant. It's not going to happen. Don't expect it, and don't get upset when you don't see it, because you're not going to have that. And you got to get in your mindset that when I was at Arches, everybody was old as hell. I'm talking about in the 70s. They got drunk in the lodge in the heat. And you know what happens. They fell the hell out 10 minutes after they walked outdoors. But when you go to like Zion, you see a lot of hikers and bikers and people cycling, and they were pretty young. They were in their 20s and 30s, and so you saw a lot of that. But don't get me wrong, you saw a shitload of old people. But that park is not made. And the lodge there, it's a strange lodge that you walk in, and one part is for reserved, and one part is for open seating. You walk in, eat whatever you want to eat, whenever you want to eat. They don't tell you got to reserve the one part with the good menu. They don't tell you that. And you have to be there within 15 minutes of your agreed upon time, or they charge your credit card, whether you eat or not. And after 15 minutes within the time you reserved, you lose your money on your credit card, and you lose your slot in line too. So you're gonna lose all that. But but my whole thing is national parks. What would it take for you guys to just get a damn decent restaurant? Get a Golden Corral. That's for old people. Get a Golden Corral for old people, and for young people, get a buffet. No, get a Cracker Barrel. Get a Cracker Barrel, and you have a winner. And even the locals will go to Cracker Barrel out of season. Now, Cracker Barrel ain't gonna make a lot of money out of season, but then again, they only need really 1 or 2 employees. A cash register and a guy in the back cooking for everybody. That's all they need. During the season, bring in a couple new people, people non-U.S. or immigrants or whatever you want to call them, because it's so easy to make money, but you got to put a little money into money to make money. That's not the National Park Service. No, it's not their service. They are simple. They're gonna lease it out to somebody, and they tell them, "Good luck. Whatever you do. Just give me my 25% or whatever you gross make." That's how they look at it, and that's how you're gonna feel when you go there. And remember, you're gonna pay a lot of money for a little kid. A 6-year-old, you're gonna spend $20 You're gonna spend $20 to $25 on that 6-year-old. You are going to spend money because there are no kids menus. I walked in. You have no clue how many restaurants I sat in where a family of 8 or 9 to come in, and you can see 6 little kids. A couple families. They're all family, but they're all together, and they get up and walk out because the little kid wanted chicken tenders, and the mom is saying, "Hey, where's the kids menu?" No, we don't have one. You shouldn't have had a kid, or you should have had a kid and not brought him here. That's just how it works in those places. So you get people, they walk in and they think it's a regular restaurant, and they think when they get that adult menu that there's a kid menu coming behind that. No, you have the menu for everybody in your party. One lady said, "Well, I don't want to spend $20 on my kids getting a hamburger. She's not gonna eat a burger that big." Got news for you. The burger do cost $20, but it's not that big. Now, you get a lot of fries with it, but we all know fries are cheap. So you go there, you got to know what to expect. Do your research. None of this should have been a surprise to anybody. I did my research. I already knew what it was going to cost me when I walked in. Or you could have just did your research outside on your phone. Oh, speaking of that, you're not going to get cell service in every national park in every place. No. We might have got cell service half the time. They do that because if I could have got cell service, I would have ordered Domino's pizza in the national park and had it delivered. I was at Domino's. Hello, this is DJ Leon. Can I get a pizza delivered? Where are you at? I'm at viewpoint number 3. I would have did that because I knew when I left the national park, the food was gonna suck. There's no Domino's, but everybody sell pizza. Everybody sell pizza. Every national park, you walk outside, there are pizza places galore. It's like it's the only thing that people want to eat. Now you got a lot of foreigners there, Germans and primarily Germans and Europeans. They love national parks. So do I. But also I like to have a decent meal when I walk 12 miles during the daytime. I like to have a decent meal when I walk 12 miles. I'm gonna show you some pictures, some drone shots that I did in the national parks. And the drone shots make you want to eat just watching them because you're not going to eat when you leave the park. So be cool about it when you take your people, when you take your kids and family there. Be cool about what is that you have to, that what is that you want. And you can bring food in a national park because you drive in them. I saw a lot of families having a big old spread, while I was walking through the national park. I saw a lot of families having a huge spread. They brought in whatever they wanted. They brought in their Yeti coolers and had stuff in there. They brought in their hot boxes and had chicken in there. That's the smart way of doing things. But here's the problem. you don't have major grocery stores around national parks. It's some mom and pop country store. They all say general store or country store. And you walk in there and the food is just not appealing to your eyes. But now you can buy your deli meat or whatever. You can package it all up. You can do all this and you can put it there and you can just, have a spread in the park. That's the cheapest you're going to eat. That's the only way you're going to eat what everybody wants. You're not going to do it in a restaurant or do it any other place. You don't have a Cracker Barrel, and you definitely don't have a Golden Corral. So, not that those places are good, but Cracker Barrel is made for old folks. Golden Corral are made for families. It's a huge difference in both of their geographic footprint and who they want to be in there. You have none of that. I didn't see a buffet. I saw nothing. I might have seen one buffet in Moab, but it wasn't a buffet the way we think of a buffet. So, this is your boy DJ Leon D. I'm going to tell you right now, you go to a national park, bring your own food because you're not going to find good food outside of it. You may find food in it, but it is what it is. Peace.